Welcome to another episode of Breaking the Entering Podcast, everyone. Week 18 is done. Wild Card Weekend is just upon us, about 4 days away. Season flew by. Best time of the year for football, but also it's coming down to the end, so it's kind of bittersweet for me. But we're going to get into everything today. Brandon, how are you today, man?
Doing good, man. Victory Tuesday. It's Lamar Jackson's birthday, turned 28. You have a good quarterback, man. Got to give him a shout out. So happy birthday to my two-time MVP quarterback, Lamar.
Definitely. Happy birthday, LJ.
All right, everyone, let's get to this opening drive. We got a lot of coaching news going on. The Jaguars, they fired head coach Doug Peterson, but GM Trent Balk, he is still has a job. The Patriots, they fired head coach Gerard Mayo after one season. Antonio Pierce, he was shown the door in Las Vegas after one season. GM Tom Telesco will stay, and Tom Brady will have a role in picking the next head coach. If you all don't know, Tom Brady's the minority owner of the Raiders now. Offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb is one and done in Seattle. The Bengals, they fired defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo, as well as their offensive line, defensive line, and linebacker coaches. The Browns, they fired Ken Dorsey and offensive line coach Andy Dickerson. San Francisco, they fired special teams coordinator Brian Schneider. The Titans, they've let go general manager Ran Carthon after 2 seasons. Dallas has denied the Bears' request to interview head coach Mike McCarthy. Gus Bradley, he's been let go as the Colts defensive coordinator. Some good news now. Aaron Rodgers, he's become the 5th player in NFL history to throw for more than 500 passing touchdowns in his career. And the Titans are on the clock. Tennessee will pick first overall in the draft as of now, followed by the Browns, Giants, and Patriots. I know we have some thoughts on 2 of the coaches, head coaches that got let go. Do you have any thoughts you want to put on the air?
I'm not surprised. We talked about it last week where our coach was on the hot seat segment, and unfortunately I caught it with Gerard Mayo and Antonio Pierce. I mean, like I said, you got to be basically Coach Herman Boone from Remember the Titans. You get put in a situation where it's basically a lose-lose. I mean, you get a team, you inherit a team. Speaking of the Patriots right now, Gerard Mayo, where the team is basically bad going in. You come in with a rookie quarterback, you start the season 2-0, then things go off the rails, and then maybe he lost the locker room too. I did see a video of their cornerback Christian Gonzalez, I think his name is, but he was asked about the situation. He was kind of smiling throughout the thing, so maybe he lost some of that trust in the locker room as far as Mayo. Then Antonio Pierce, I'm not surprised either. I mean, what do you want me to do? I mean, look at the quarterbacks that Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, both those guys get hurt during the season. I mean, so I'm not surprised. I mean, we've seen history tells us it is what it is. When it comes to black head coaches, they get a shorter leash, in my opinion. I mean, go back and look at throughout history. I mean, I'm trying to think of, black coaches, Marvin Lewis, maybe. We got Mike Tomlin now, but there's not too many that I can think of right on top of my head that do get a long tenure. And if they do, they got to, have great seasons. You can't be mediocre for a while like a lot of other coaches. So, yeah, what about you? You got any thoughts?
Yeah, Antonio Pierce for the Raiders. Not only that, they also traded away probably their best offensive player in Devontae Adams. Plus, they let go of their top running back, Josh Jacobs, and he goes to Green Bay and lights it up there. Plus, on top of that, I mean, yes, I think he obviously was wasn't given a fair enough shot, but the Raiders don't keep head coaches long at all anyway. So I wouldn't want to take that situation no matter who I am if I was, to get an interview for the Raiders and the Patriots as well. Gerard Mayo, you talk about that roster. He basically had nobody out there. He had a couple decent running backs and maybe a tight end or 2. The defense was okay, but he inherited that roster from Bill Belichick. That's pretty much the same roster that Tom Brady said that he didn't want to play with anymore. He went to Tampa. So we know that team hasn't been good since they went to the Super Bowl and they last won the Super Bowl. they have a lot to fix. I think there was 2 black candidates they interviewed today. Not sure if it was part of the Rooney Rule or what,
It
but the
was.
thing that really got me was, yeah, the thing that really got me was that um, uh, who's the owner out there? Robert Kraft. He said that he really loved Gerard Mayo, this and that, but um, he just wasn't given enough time before he became a head coach. Said he's going to become a great head coach in this league, but he wasn't given enough time. So if that was the case, why didn't you give him enough time? You get what I'm saying? You're the one that hand selected him. They didn't have a general manager under Belichick, so it wasn't like the GM picked it. You did, and whoever is in your team of selecting, making that decision out there, it's just a mess. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I mentioned this last year. It was a blessing and a curse that these two got head coaching positions last year, because I was like, if it don't pan out, kind of like um, D'Amico Ryans down in Houston, where they won their division and went to the playoff. They went to the second round. If it didn't work out like that, I felt that it was going to be a quick way to get them out the door. And we probably both mentioned that, throughout the season or last year as well. But hopefully, we'll get a couple more to come in the door. Maybe Aaron Glenn, just to name a few. I think Anthony Weaver, the deep Miami defensive coordinator, he's getting some interviews as well. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, not a good look. One and done. It's not enough time for anybody, but it definitely puts a limelight on it when it's already in so few of them anyway. It's even more under the microscope now.
Yeah. Yeah, you in a lose-lose situation. Just do the best you can, but yeah, probably gonna get out of there
Yep,
if you don't turn piss into lemonade. But all right,
exactly.
man. Let's get into an AFC North matchup, shall we? The Bengals beat the Steelers over the weekend, 19-17. Bengals jumped out on the Steelers to start the game, started with a 10-0 lead, and they didn't score a touchdown after that. They didn't need any touchdowns after that. They scored basically field goals the rest of the way. Like I said, beat the Bengals, or they beat the Steelers 19-17. Very weird, very sloppy game for the Steelers. I mean, you look at the time of possession, Bengals had 38 minutes to the Steelers 22 minutes, and it's still in the end of the game. Steelers had a chance to win the game, but guys like George Pickens, he left his hands at home. He had a bunch of drops. Just ugly game overall. No interceptions thrown for Russell Wilson, but they did lose a fumble. There was a play at the end of the game too where Russell Wilson, like, he could have thrown the ball out of bounds, but he wanted extra yardage. He scrambled. Time was getting wasted off the clock, and at the end, he tried to hit Freiermuth. Would have been got him in field goal range, I think, or at least got him in closer to field goal range, but he let it go through his hands too. Ugly loss for the Steelers. Kind of nervous when they play you guys next week. We'll talk about that more in depth on at the end of the week, just to see how they bounce back from this game. But I guess silver lining for the Cincinnati Bengals was Jamar Chase winning that Triple Crown. He had 10 catches that day and a touchdown. So he led the league in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. So salute to Jamar Chase for that. We'll see how the Bengals rebound next year, but they are out of the playoffs. They got knocked out once the Broncos beat the Chiefs, who they whipped up on the Chiefs. But what were your thoughts on this game, man?
Honestly, in my opinion, it was over after the first possession. I know the scoreboard shows different. Cincinnati, they marched downfield, got that 12-yard touchdown, Jamar Chase. Their defense held Pittsburgh's offense to 193 total yards. All the issues that they've had on that side of the ball, and being that Pittsburgh put up 520 yards during the first matchup early in the season there in Ohio, was quite impressive to me. The defense, how Cincinnati held them. But yeah, Pittsburgh made it the game at the end. Russ hit Freiermuth in the fourth quarter for a touchdown. They had a field goal, but then they shot themselves in the foot on the final drive. Especially with that Russ Wilson play, he scrambled instead of, thrown out of bounds or anything like that. But as for the Bengals, though, good season for them. Like you mentioned, you have Joe Burrow played lights out. T. Higgins really came on even stronger than he already was. Jamar Chase, Triple Crown, and Trey Henderson, 3.5 sacks in this one, 17.5 on the season. Him and TJ Watt were vying for the sack title. Thank the Lord, Miles Garrett didn't get any, and I think I got that. Yeah, Trey Henderson and Miles Garrett were going for the title. Miles did not get any against the Ravens in the first game, and Trey got it in the second game, so he got the sack title. I'm just glad Miles didn't get it against my team. But yeah, he's been the one consistent bright spot on the defensive side of the ball there for the Bengals this season. But
Only
yeah,
bright spot
still,
if you ask me.
yeah, I think maybe the safety or corner. I think he's the safety. Cam Taylor Britt. He had a couple big plays this season, but other than that, yeah, Trey Henderson is the only bright spot there. But yeah, Steelers literally backed into the playoffs. 4 straight losses right now. It has not been good down the stretch, especially offensively. The defense hasn't helped them much either. So we'll see what they look like come Saturday night there in Baltimore. We'll get to that later this week. But yeah, they're in the dance, so we'll see how it goes. All right, everyone. It was a 35-10 win for the home team at the bank Saturday night when the Ravens topped the Browns. So many things went right for my Ravens in this one. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, they both rebounded after slow starts. They both finished with 2 touchdowns apiece. Nate Wiggins got his first career interception, and it was a pick six. And the big fellow, 355-pound defensive tackle Michael Pierce, got his first career interception. The bench was hyped after that. He took the knee. He made it on Marcus Spears' Big Man Balling on NFL Live on ESPN. But on the opening drive of the third quarter, we marched right downfield. LJ took the snap from the 7-yard line. Bateman crossed in front of him in the end zone. Lamar throws it up, and he hits the Steph Curry turnaround and throws his hands up in the air. Touchdown. He knew it was going to be a touchdown. That was pretty cool to me. I know Carolina's quarterback did it as well on Sunday. A
Bryce
couple
Young.
guys, I think. Yeah, Bryce Young. A couple guys have done it from what I heard. But I'm just so thankful to have him as our quarterback. I don't say it enough, because when you see situations like today, so many coaches getting let go, you'll see in a couple months when free agency hits, guys start hitting free agency and getting traded and stuff like that. But we've got ourselves a quarterback and have had him for quite a while. Of course, he's in the MVP conversation as well. But back to the game. This game was a lot of hard hits. Marlon got one. Kyle Hamilton got one, and so did some of the Browns defenders. I think they really let these guys play in this one here. I told you last week that the Browns-Ravens is probably the third most physical matchup in the AFC North. We did have a few scares, though. Bateman went down. Hamilton went down. They both returned. Zay Flowers went down. I think the last I heard is he's day-to-day. So we'll see if he's out there on Saturday night. 2 guys that I mentioned we needed held in check, Myles Garrett and Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy got going a little bit there in the late third quarter and the fourth quarter when they was just trying to get something going. But Myles Garrett, we definitely held him in check. He didn't get any sacks to help him win the title, as I mentioned, talking about Bengals Steelers as well. But yeah, this was a way to close out the regular season at home. A great win there in Baltimore. What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I don't got too much on this game, man. I'm happy I was able to call that you guys were going to get a defensive touchdown. So salute to Nate Wiggins on that. Yeah, man, great game. Derrick Henry did his thing. Like you said, I was kind of nervous for y'all watching that game too, because some of y'all players seemed like they were dropping like fries, dropping like flies. Like you mentioned, Zay Flowers went down with that knee injury, and then Bateman got down as well. It was good to see him go back to the game. Same as Kyle Hamilton. We were talking off air, texting back and forth between the games. It's like, God damn, what the hell's going on here? I was talking about how I like Kyle Hamilton a lot. He's probably like one of my favorite players on y'all team. So good win for y'all, man. The Browns don't know what they're going to do next season. There was a report that Deshaun Watson suffered a setback during his Achilles rehab. So I doubt he's going to play it all next year, and want to see where they go in that direction, what they're going to do in the draft, things like that. But yeah, can't wait. Looking forward to the next show when we talk about your matchup against the Steelers. You guys need to be healthy for that one. I think that's going to be another tough fight. But as far as this game go, salute to you guys. Got the job done. Won the AFC North. And Lamar Jackson, I wonder. I think it's going to be in Josh Allen's hands as far as the MVP. But you look at the numbers that a lot of media pundits are comparing the numbers, and Lamar's are definitely better. It's better than the year he even won the MVP last time. But I think it's just going to go to Josh Allen. I'm not sure if he's won one before, so I think he's just due one. I think it might be like media fatigue for Lamar Jackson too, as far as him getting one. So it'll probably go to Josh Allen, but Lamar Jackson definitely has deserved another MVP, not two. But I'm sure he'd rather go all the way and get that Super Bowl. But yeah, salute to him and salute to the Ravens. But before we get started with the rest of the episode, this episode is brought to you by Premium, a CBD health and wellness company. Check out their line of CBD infused products, which are perfect after workout refuel for athletes, a pain reliever for weekend warriors, and even a natural sports drink for us armchair quarterbacks. Their featured product is CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite of mine, as well as tinctures and mint and natural flavors. They are veteran, women, and minority owned. So come get some of this sweet hempitation and taste the premium difference. Use code B&E for 15% off your order. Their website is premium.com. And now let's get back to our show. Commanders finally got it done against the freaking Cowboys, man. I was watching this game, basically pouring what's left of my hair out watching this goddamn game. The first half, Jaden Daniels played. He didn't do much. Micah Parsons was looking like Michael Parsons. Oh, he had 2.5 sacks. I think he sacked him on the first down play of the game. And then a few plays later, I think he got another sack as well. So watching that first half was just, oh my God, here we go again. I had a feeling. I thought the Cowboys just had our number this year. The way they played the first game was a lot of fluke stuff going on, but at the same time, they were moving the ball. Trey Lance, no offense to Trey Lance, but come on now. 244 yards we let him throw. Like, really? My goodness, great. Jalen Tolbert. Again, no offense to none of the Cowboys players. These are pro athletes, made to the NFL, the highest level of football. But again, come on, guys. CeeDee Lamb wasn't out there, and we still letting these guys go off against us. I mean, I'm really concerned going into the matchup against the Bucs next week. But back to this game, the second half came. We inserted Marcus Mariota. I believe Jaden Daniels had a leg soreness, so we just let him rest. Marcus Mariota came out there. I'm glad we got him as a backup because I do have confidence in him, the way he's played when he has had to come in games and get the job done. He came in there, got the job done, like I just said, rushed for a touchdown. Salute to my guy, Scary Terry. Broke the franchise record for touchdowns in the season. He has 13 on the season. Got that last minute touchdown to win the game. I loved it, man. Made a very stressful day. Just release all that stress and just frustration watching these damn guys play. We were able to win the game. So salute to Commanders for that. Got a 6 seed, 12 wins on the season. First time we're in the playoffs since I believe 2020. First time for a winning record in the playoffs since like 2015. So, hopefully we take this momentum going into this playoff game against the Bucs this Sunday coming up and do some good things. Defense, Lord have mercy. I'll talk about y'all more Friday. But Brandon, you got any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I don't have much on this one, but talk about down to the wire though. Another Cowboys Commanders matchup ended in the final seconds. Mariota hit Scary Terry McLaurin. 3 seconds left to seal the victory for y'all. I expect a little bit more out of your running game because they have been horrendous there. Dallas has at stopping the run at home, especially with Austin Eckler back from IR, his first game back. I don't think Chris Rodriguez, I think that's his first name, but Rodriguez, he was wasn't out there. He didn't have any snaps. Not sure if he was inactive or not. Trey Lance, he played solid, as you mentioned. Brandon Aubrey continued to be efficient there for the Cowboys kicking game. You talk about Micah Parsons as well, surpassed 10 sacks for the fourth time in his 4 seasons he's played. And he missed 4 games this year, so he could have been in the running as well for that sack title as well. But as for Dallas goes, I think whoever is their coach next season, they need a new defensive coordinator. This team has definitely taken a step back. We've talked about it multiple times with Mike Zimmer as their defensive coordinator as opposed to Dan Quinn. So good for Dan Quinn to go back in there and show his old team what they're missing in a sense. His team is headed to the playoffs. The Cowboys are not, quote unquote, America's team. Will be sitting on the couch. Always love to not have them around this time of year, and I'm not even an NFC East fan or a rival. So yeah, good for the Commanders to get a win in the column as you're heading in the playoffs. It will be a tough matchup on was it Sunday Night Football with your boy Chris Collinsworth there on NBC. We'll talk about that more later in this week, though.
Yeah. Speaking
All right,
of Brandon
everyone.
Aubrey, he kind of had a bonehead play. Literally, where he kicked the ball out of
Yeah,
bounds, and hit a damn cheerleader in the head. Hope she's doing all right.
I saw. Yep,
Yeah.
I saw that. Crazy. All right, everyone. Let's get to our player awards. My offensive player of the week is a four-time MVP, Aaron Rodgers, 23 for 36, 274 yards. He did have an interception, but he had 3 passing touchdowns. 2 of those were to his guys, Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard. If this was his last game, he went out, I think, on a high note there for the New York Jets. Who's your offensive player of the week?
It's kind of a tie for me. It's between Jahmyr Gibbs, 23 rushes, 139 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns on the ground. He also had a receiving touchdown too. So you have 4 total touchdowns. And then Bo Nix, rookie quarterback,
Yeah,
absolutely torched the Chiefs. He had about 300 yards, 321 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, went 26 to 29. And then he rushed for 47 yards as well. So Bo Nix and Jahmyr Gibbs are my co-offensive players of the week.
defensive player of the week. I'm going to go with the Texans defender. I think he's a defensive end, Derek Barnett. Fourth quarter, he put the game out of reach there with 36 yards, scoop and score for a touchdown on the fumble. Plus, he had 3 quarterback hits, 2 tackles for a loss there, and a sack there in the divisional matchup for the Houston Texans for them to get back in the win column as well. They had lost a couple there in a row. Who's your defender of the week?
I'm gonna show some love to your boy Michael Pierce, man. Like you mentioned earlier, he had that interception. I thought it was hilarious when he caught the ball. He ran for a second, like he said during the interview. He bus ran out of gas, so he got down on that knee real fast. I think he had a pass deflection as well. So I'll give some love to Michael Pierce, the D tackle for the Ravens.
Great coverage on the play too, man. He's covered. I don't know who was in front of a back or receiver or tight end. He covered them better than some of our linebackers have. So
Yeah, you
yeah,
don't think about a D tackle dropping the coverage.
exactly. And they were down there near the red area too. Yeah. All right, special teams player of the week. I'm going with the Bears kicker, Carlos Santos. I cannot remember the last time the Bears beat the Packers until Sunday afternoon. 33-year-old kicker. He had 3 extra points, including the 51-yarder there as the clock expired. They went down the field in no time to set up their field goal unit as well. Shout out to the Bears to end the season on the high note against probably their top rival. Again, I do not remember the last time the Bears beat the Packers. So we'll see. Hopefully this gets the momentum for this team heading into next season. Who's your special teams player of the week?
A shout out Malik Washington, the kick returner for the Miami Dolphins. He didn't return anything for a touchdown, but he did have a long of 67 yards on the kick return. So Malik Washington of the Dolphins is my special teamer of the week.
All right, everyone. My bonehead play of the week. I'm going to try to share my screen. I haven't done this before and let the play go for itself. Let's see if I can get this right. And I probably cannot. Let's see if I can get the entire screen. There we go. Okay. Can you see me now? Can you see the play up there, Ed?
Yes, on them.
Now it looks like you can. Okay. Here we got Jets Dolphins, I think it was. I can't even remember who they was.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
Dolphins.
let the play go for itself. Yeah, Jets Dolphins. Aaron Rodgers, why would you let your homeboy Devontae Adams get jacked up like that? If it was ESPN Monday Night Countdown years
Just
ago
what
when
I
we
was
was in
thinking
high
of.
school, they used to have the jacked up segment. And I know you said a couple weeks ago, um, Jalen Ramsey is kind of like, he probably lost his touch as one of the top corners in the league, but he is back as definitely as a tackler. Um, a perfect opportunity for him to make a play on this end around quarterback toss, whatever play you want to call it as. Just a complete mess there for the Jets. Luckily, he rebounded. He got his guy a touchdown later on, and they did end up beating the Dolphins there as well. So, yeah, that's my bonehead play of the week. What about you?
I don't have a bonehead play of the week. I do have a bonehead player of the week. I mentioned him a little earlier. George Pickens, like I said, he left his hands ago. At least three crucial drops against the game against the Bengals. Just very, very bad game. I think he had like one catch for 0 yards, and then he had three just blatant drops that were awful. So, George Pickens, you're my bonehead player of the week. Salute to you, brother. Hope you get it together in the playoffs. Brandon doesn't hope you do, but yeah, you need to rebound from that terrible performance for sure.
Yeah, he can
All
wait
right,
till next
everybody.
September.
Yeah. Let's get into the other scores that happened over the weekend. Bears knock out the Packers, as Brandon mentioned earlier, 24-22. Patriots beat the Bills 23-16. Texans get in the win column 23-14 over the Titans. Eagles beat the Giants without Saquon, without Jalen Hurts, 20-13. Bucks beat the Saints 27-19. Jets topped the Dolphins 32-20. Cardinals stormed past the 49ers 47-24. Panthers beat the Falcons in overtime 44-38. Colts take down the Jaguars in overtime 26-23. Chargers beat the Raiders 34-20. Seahawks finished the season 7-1 on the road after beating the Rams 30-25. Broncos shut out the Chiefs in Denver 38-0. And it was Detroit on Monday Night Football over the Vikings 31-9 as the Lions clinched the number one seed in NFC. Thanks, Sam Darnold. The only game I try to trust you, and y'all stink the bed up. That Packers game too. Fortunately, they lost Christian Watson for the year. He got tore his ACL. I think that's going to be a huge loss for them as they go against the Eagles this upcoming weekend. Feel bad for him. Bucks over the Saints. Salute to Mike Evans, man. I'm glad they were able to let him get his 1,000 yards, over 1,000 yards, and tie Jerry Rice for consecutive seasons for over 1,000 yards. Last play of the game, basically, he got a $3 million incentive as well. So that was really cool to watch, seeing his teammates cheer for him. And he was hyped to do it over the Saints, a game they needed to win too. Panthers over the Falcons 44-38. Dave Tepper said it looks like they got their quarterback of the future. So it looks like Bryce Young is going to remain in Carolina. So salute to him. We'll see how he does next year. And there's been a bunch of times where, teams start to look good at the end of a season. Then they get back to next year and it's the same old blues. So I'll be interested to see how they look next year, if they can continue to improve and if Bryce Young can continue to improve. And then the Broncos beating the hell out of the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs basically didn't have anyone out there really on the field as far as stars. Mahomes didn't play, Kelsey didn't play, Chris Jones didn't play, a lot of other defensive play. I didn't think Trent McDuffie played as well, but Bo Nix, that didn't matter to him. Broncos needed this win. First time they're in the playoffs since they won the Super Bowl back in 2015 with Peyton Manning. So long time coming for them. So salute to the Broncos for getting in. Brandon, any of these games catch your eye?
Yeah, Bears Packers. I'm still literally in shock that happened. I've always said it multiple times that the Packers owned the Bears, more specifically Aaron Rodgers when he was there, and then I said Jordan Love took over as well. He hadn't lost to them until Sunday. I know Christian Watson went out early on. Um, Jordan Love had a funny bone injury as well, but got to give congratulations to the Bears there as well. Patriots and the Bills, despite the win, I hope the Patriots stink next year for firing Gerard Mayo. They have way too many holes there for anyone to fix within a year. Um, Bucks Saints, yeah, congratulations to Mike Evans. I was remember texting you and you said, he got over 1,000. I was watching checking on ESPN.com and they hadn't updated it. I thought I did not believe you, but I was looking at that at the time and it was just shorts. They just hadn't updated it. So kudos to him. And Broncos Chiefs, man, yeah. None of the starters played pretty much. It was though the first shutout under the Andy Reid regime. Despite again the starters being out, it brought joy to my heart to see the Chiefs get shut out. I don't care in what matter it was, whether it's preseason, the starters not sitting regular season during the season. I don't care. It brought joy to my heart. So thank you to the Broncos. I thought they were going to win. I didn't think they was going to win that good. And the Chiefs are usually pretty good in these final games, even when they rest their starters. That's one thing about them. I always remember under Patrick Mahomes, even when the backups are in, they typically win these week 17, week 18 games. However long the season is, they usually win them. So to think that they shut them out is saying something, even when the backups are playing in previous years as well. Real quick before we go, I want to ask you about Tyreek Hill. I know you probably saw his post-game press conference, and then I think the owner came out today and said that Tyreek Hill did not ask for a trade, but he basically came out and said that he's out. He's too much of a competitor to just be out there. He did not play in the fourth quarter, from my understanding. What are your thoughts on him? What are your thoughts on, possibly a suitor for him next year?
I think he listed teams and he mentioned the Commanders as one of the teams, so that would be great to have him on the team.
Okay, I
But
did not hear
think
it.
he
Okay.
still I think he still has some years on his contract left. So I
Yeah.
mean, I doubt the Dolphins are just gonna, let him or going to trade him willy nilly. If they do trade him somewhere, it's probably going to be to another team that stinks. Just to, say, hey man, this is even though you're a player, you have a lot of power. Let me show you what real power is about. As far as players wanting to get traded, I mean, that's just the way it is, man. But if he somehow, I would love to have him on the Commanders. I would just open up the offense even more. We got a lot of cap space just because Jaden's going to be on a rookie deal. Comes in, him and Scary Terry doing that thing, that will open up a lot of things. I would love to have him on Commanders, but I doubt it's going to happen. But I am interested to see how this saga will go with him. Is he going to hold out? Is he going to change his mind? I mean, definitely want to see how that turns out. But yeah, I don't want to say I'm not surprised. I've seen it before. We've seen, receivers, other players say they want to out while they still have years on their contract. So I'm just interested to see how it's all going to shake out. Let's put it that way.
Let's see, I'm a little bit on the other side of the fence. I would not want him on my roster, even if I needed a wide receiver. After you do that, I remember last season, I believe, no, 2 seasons ago, he in his first season there, they came into Baltimore, and I think it was week 2, and they torched us. I think they came back from 21 down, or 21, yeah, 21 unanswered, 28 unanswered there in the fourth quarter. Tua put up 6 touchdowns. Both the receivers ended up over 200 yards receiving or something like that. And after the game, he was like, yeah, y'all need to back up the Brinks truck for Tua and all this type of stuff. He was hyped and, the adrenaline rush and all that type of stuff. Yes, we know Tua was banged up this year. He missed a lot of games. They had Tyler Huntley in there and I believe another quarterback. The offense was totally different. They could not run the ball this year, yes, but you was just, touting this man more accurate than Patrick Mahomes. You decided that you wanted out of Kansas City, and now all of a sudden you went out of Miami. 1 year of struggling. This is your first year in your career that you missed the playoffs. You know how many guys that have played in this league have went damn near their whole career and did not make the playoffs? I think Joe Thomas, a Hall of Fame offensive tackle for the Browns, he either did not make the playoffs at all or he went maybe one time. Yes, they're two different positions, brought two different, skill sets to their team based on what they played. But again, the Dolphins, they were in the race there at the end. you had a chance to go. So to me, honestly, he's another player that almost sort of quit on his team. I don't know the whole ins and outs of it. I just know what I've heard and what I've seen as far as him not going in there in the fourth quarter. But I would not want him on my team. And then on top of that, yes, it's your own personal social media account, but you put the Antonio Brown meme up as your profile picture. So to me, you're starting to show that you're going to act just like him. Okay.
Mm.
You get the ties there. He played in Florida with the Bucks at the time. Antonio Brown, he's playing in South Beach with the Dolphins. Honestly, if I was the Dolphins, I'd play hardball with him. You want out, you know what I'm saying, you just going to run this contract out. That's gonna be the unless you come in there antagonizing the teammates and all that stuff, I'd sit you on the bench if I were you, if I was them. And if he don't want to act right. Because again, they were right there in the race at the end. You talk about Tua, how accurate he was compared to Patrick Mahomes, a 3-time Super Bowl champion. I think he had won one Super Bowl at that time. And, again, the comments after the Ravens game as well. To me, I would not want him on my roster. But
Yeah. Brandon
I
Marshall,
see
he's
from the
another wide receiver
yeah.
who never made the playoffs.
There you go. There you go. I mean, there's a lot of guys that played several years and weren't lucky enough to go to the playoffs. Look at Dan Marino, right there on the same team years ago. He went to the Super Bowl 1 year, never made it back. Okay. So, what I'm saying? He had the luxury of playing in a championship team, but he wanted more money. And that I can understand. You want to take care of yourself and your family, but don't just give up on the team after 1 year of struggling. You know what I'm saying? You got in my mind, a great offensive coordinator. You got a great tandem over there with Jalen Waddle. You got probably at least one or two decent running backs. The offensive line isn't that bad. Your quarterback is damn good when he's out there. He's not no Patrick Mahomes, but he is very accurate. But yeah, we'll see how it all works out. Just don't go back to Kansas City, Tyreek Hill, and don't go anywhere in the AFC North. Miami, work with me if y'all gonna trade him.
Oh, they'll probably trade it to the NFC team or some team not in their division.
I'd imagine,
they do trade him.
Yeah, but then again, we saw a lot of interdivision activity this past off season. I know most of it was free agency. We saw coaches going in their division. We saw players going in free agency. So who knows what the theme is going to be this coming off season? It could be. We'll definitely get to that after the Super Bowl. What we expect for this off season, but it should be something to watch. All right, everyone. It is time for us to go. Please hit the subscribe button on your screen. Follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, Podcast B&E, on IG as well at the B&E Podcast. We got Super Wild Card weekend right around the corner, and we can't wait to unpack those games. 6 of them, 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and a Monday Night Football game on ESPN and ABC to close it all out as we inch closer and closer to the Super Bowl. We will talk to you soon. And until next time, love one another.